Set? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the May Village Board meeting. If you could please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance with us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a seat. Thank you. Let's just look at the top. We have reports that have been submitted to us. For the police department, do you have anything additional do you have anything for the, you want to come up? Sure, absolutely. You can even take more than 2 seconds.
I just wanted to bring it to your attention so we remember for next year, the great job DPW did this year with the signs and stuff, made the,
They did a great job.
the garage fair weekend way easier to deal with, a lot less traffic problems. So I just wanted to thank them for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Made
They
our
did.
job a
It was
lot
great
easier.
we wanted to just the ends to make sure people could get in and out of the roads. So they
Yep.
did a great job putting everything
They
together.
really did.
Excellent. So next, the fair.
Yeah.
They're ready. Thank you, Chief. Public Works, nothing additional? No, we're in full swing for leaf collection and brush collection. Just make sure if you're at home seeing this, that it is now in bags, debris and leaves, and the bundles of your trees or bushes, please, branches, thank you. I'm like, what's that word? Please bundle them so one guy, comes around and puts them, lifts them up. So it has to be easy for them to do that so they can get around to the whole village. We
Roughly
appreciate
about
that.
4 feet, right?
4 feet lengths, yes. The newsletter will be coming out next week. It's also outlined in there as well, along with some other zoning reminders that always this time of year we put out there to everybody. But so far, so good. Right now, before we get to the regular agenda, we're just going to have a brief presentation by Rich Strout of Barton LaJudas, who are engineers on the project for it was the potassium ferrate pilot test program that we did on the Brandel Road well. And it was probably, January or February? I forgot when it started. It was a couple weeks in there.
It was shortly after Christmas.
All right, that's what I thought. And so they've analyzed, and you're going to tell us where we're at with that. And this is all, let me go back a little bit. This test was because we found the manganese levels were too high in these wells. We've been dealing with that since, and
Right.
did a test pilot to see, about some different solutions. There you go. How's that?
All right, I'm done.
Go for it.
Well, thanks.
You'll say
So, yeah, again, Rich Straw with Barton LaJudas. So we just really wanted to come and thought it was a good time to kind of give you an update of where we've been and where we're going. And, first, I'd just like to thank Larry. I mean, Larry put a lot of work into this and, continues to put a lot of work into this. And you're very fortunate, as is Voorheesville, for having, somebody like Larry to work on your water and your DPW work. But anyway, getting back to this project. So again, back in February, March of 2022, you had a couple of exceedance for manganese in your drinking water at the Brandel Road wells. They got shut down, and basically, started working with the health department. Okay, what are we going to do for that? So what we started to look at is we did some work with the chemistry, right? What are some tabletop, we call it jar testing. So we looked at the chemistry doing jar testing to figure out what kind of oxidants might work. So what you want to do with manganese is oxidize it, kind of like make it into rust, and then take it out of the water. And that's the basic objectives are similar to with iron, creating rust. So you have both iron and manganese in your water. The reason manganese is targeted is that can have some adverse health effects. So over the years, those levels have just appeared to have crept up. And what we found was oxidizing with chlorine was not effective. And I know I talked about this the last time, but I'll go over some of this again. It just doesn't react quickly enough. But potassium ferrate, which is a chemical that it's been around for a long time, but this particular formulation of it has been found to be very effective with manganese. So we tested that and found out, yes, it is effective with the manganese in your water chemistry as well. It very quickly caused it to oxidize, turn to a particulate form. And the reason that we were looking for that was we're really, when we look at some of the more conventional ways of oxidizing, if you can't do it with chlorine, for example, a simple chemical, you've got like an ozone generator, things like that get very complex and very expensive. The other thing, that you can do to take out manganese is use something called the green sand filter, which is a granular media filter that you have to then regenerate the sand so that it can, absorb the manganese and the iron. So the problem with that we're trying to avoid is it requires backwashing. It's a granular media filter that, it's basically, picture a vessel with sand in it that you filter, and then every once in a while you have to clean. So you reverse the flow, you capture that water, and it's got to go somewhere. Those filters are much larger than what we were trying to use, which is more like a cartridge filter, right? This might be a series of canisters about this high and about this big, and a few in series. You might have 3 or 4 trains of them. And we could fit it in a small addition to the well house. If you had to go with the green sand filter, which still is a potential, and I'll explain why, the building addition is going to be much greater, the cost of the filters is going to be much greater, and you have to deal with the backwash, right? So there's no sewer out there, and that's the problem. Normally, you would want that backwash to just go down the sewer, and you deal with it at the wastewater plant. Here, we would have to either truck it away or find a way to evaporate the water, or, which is done sometimes, but not at this kind of a size facility. It's really kind of impractical. Or build a small line to pump the wastewater back to the village and put it into your sewer system. So jumping back to the chemistry, so we did the bench tests, and then this past winter we did a pilot test. So we actually had a small treatment system set up down there. We had the University of Rhode Island, who's been doing a lot of research on potassium ferrate. They own the pilot unit. They brought it in. It was their pilot test, and they got it set up, and then we ran that for about a week. And we found out that it was very effective. And it worked not only on the bench, but in a pilot system. Where we are today is we know that we have a potential solution that would work well. We could use this potassium ferrate, use these cartridge filters, which are essentially disposable, right? It's like a larger version of what you might have in your house. But again, the canisters and the cartridges are larger. And you don't need to backwash them because you take the cartridges out and you throw them away. So one of the things we wanted to find out is, could we get a reasonable filter run with these various cartridges? So we had several in series that had a larger pore size down to a very small pore size. And we found out that, yes, we think that, you might change these filters once a week and once every, week and a half, something to that effect, which is pretty reasonable. Where we are today, though, is that the chemical formulation that we're looking at is still not commercialized. So if it was something that you could go buy right now, we could, build a system, you buy the stuff, and it would work. The company that has come up with this formulation is still working on that commercialization. So where are we today? You still got the green sand option, and you've got this option that requires further development by the inventor of this formulation of the chemical. What we're suggesting is that we look toward this coming year, basically from now till next year, which is somewhat around grant funding season, and work on developing the preliminary design further and look for grant funds next year. So Larry and I have talked about how would you operate. I mean, you'd operate the way you have the last couple of years, primarily on the Gun Club Road well, with the Randall Road wells as a backup. One thing that I want to mention too is we've noticed that While you have had a couple of what we call, hits on manganese in the wells, we've also done as we did all this testing, we've taken other samples that show the manganese levels lower than the 0.3 milligrams per liter, which is the maximum contamination level. So that level is not a constant high problematic level. Tomorrow, we're going to have a meeting with the health department, and we're going to talk with them about this and get their perspective. It's important because they have approval authority over everything that happens here. And, our suggestion is that over this next year, we work on that, refining this preliminary design, stay in touch with Element 26, which is the company that's developing the potassium ferrate, and basically work toward, the solution that hopefully is the less expensive solution. So,
When the University of Rhode Island got involved with this chemical,
yeah,
they obviously saw that they were hoping that it would take care of things like this, or the
Correct.
manganese. So did they think at the time for doing this that, this company was going to be commercial by then? I mean, did they hope that was going to be?
Yes.
And we're just surprised that it's not? Okay.
I'm a little surprised that it's not, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I think it was, the first time I heard about this was about a year and a half ago at a conference, where a presentation by University of Rhode Island was done.
Yeah.
And, at that point, there has been a lot of research on potassium ferrate and its use for treatment of manganese. So, yeah, I had expected it would have progressed
Yeah,
more quickly,
sure.
but I think the issue is it's a very small company, and they're trying to figure out how do they bring it to market and set up a manufacturing site and get it NSF approved, which is the key, right? It's having it approved for use in drinking water, which I see no reason it shouldn't be. It's more about the manufacturing process and the chemical itself. And then how do they scale it up, right? They're not going to have a huge demand on day one, so how do they get it, in production and then scale it up? The reason that we all talked about going down this path is because there's great potential and it would be a great solution for Altamont. But, yes.
Are they waiting for FDA approval on this, or are they, no, they would already have
No,
this?
it would be the health department.
The health department, okay.
And the health department will require NSF, National Sanitation Foundation.
And is there a
approval.
timeline typically with this?
Well, they have an application process.
Yeah.
And what my understanding is that they have begun that application process. I would have thought that they would have begun it much more timely, I'll
And
say.
I can't imagine we have potassium and ferrous for our body anyways, and it's like chemicals that are pretty much part of our,
Right. And, that chemical is used for other things.
yeah.
Where it doesn't require the NSF certification.
And is this
So-
facility ready for production, or are they still in the development process too?
What I would imagine they're going to do, and again, this is just, and rather than build their own plant, contract it out to other chemical companies that produce a lot of different chemicals, but again, that's something that they have to do because it's their product.
So if we're going to continue to, go the year, and prepare for grants for next year, seeing, possibly designing what it would be, hopefully, if
Right.
this comes through, are we sampling, Larry, you might know this too, we're going to continue to sample just to keep our eyes on
Yeah,
Because
so.
it may stay lower than we expected to, depending on the weather and everything else.
Right, but you also aren't pumping those wells on a regular basis. So
Sure.
we actually talked about that a bit, and you have the ability to do what we did when we were in the pilot, is to pump them and just kind of blow the water
Yep.
off into the field out there. Certainly, if the wells go online, like say during the summer when your demand is at the highest, and you think, hey, we need to use some of this water, we would be monitoring, and that's what we'll talk about with the health department tomorrow as well, monitoring that on a more frequent basis than you
Right.
typically would be required to,
Sure.
so that you know if there's any kind of an issue creeping up.
Larry, are you at the health department meeting as well? Oh, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have a question about?
No.
No.
No, thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate you giving us an update.
Yeah, and that's really what this was about,
Yeah.
is, kind of let you know where we want to go. And I think it gives us a little bit of breathing room to get to that next step. We can talk about, we would, I think, over this next year, work on kind of refining cost estimates. What do
Right.
we think it's going to cost, and how does that fit in with, I think you might have some bonds that are going to finish up, and how does that work
Sure.
and relate to your your water rates and things like that. So,
Right.
I know that's pretty important as well, so.
It is, yeah.
I think the extension of the timeline might benefit us too. If they go in production with this, it'd be the cheaper
Well,
option.
that's, I think, part of the, yeah. Rich and I had talked about, applying for grants even this season, but I feel like as long as the well was, okay
Yeah.
within the certain limits right now where we're
And
at, to
monitored
hold
by it,
off if we
yeah.
could, because
Right.
that's, again, that's a lot of money to do it.
Yes.
Each grant costs us thousands of dollars,
Right.
and if we can wait and see if this will work out, and it was the better option either way, instead
Yeah.
of the expense of, the green sand filter, that part.
Right.
If we
Right.
can go this way, that would be great.
And operating the well within health guidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so it'll be
So-
kind of status quo for now with the way you've been running for the last 2 years.
Okay,
Okay?
Sounds good.
we're good with status quo. We like that. We appreciate your
What about,
your
like,
help.
when would be the next kind of checkpoint that we might hear from this company, right? Do we check in every 6
Yeah,
months?
yeah, I'm due to check in with them again.
Okay.
I think we need to have some kind of pointed conversations with them about, my thought is that, you're gonna be at a point pretty soon where you're gonna need to know what direction you're going, right?
Right.
A year sounds like a lot of time, but it's really not in this kind of project. So, what direction are you gonna go? And their preparedness impacts that.
Yeah.
Are we the only municipality in this area, or have you heard of others that are looking for this same?
We've actually worked with some other ones
You
down.
have worked with some
Not right here, but down
In the state or
down in the Hudson Valley.
Okay,
Manganese is a significant issue
we're
in a
not
lot
the
of
only ones
municipalities.
hoping.
No, you're not
hoping
the
this
only
works.
ones.
And
Yeah.
there's
No.
also future customers for this outfit to
Exactly,
sell product to.
right.
So that might be an incentive.
They're welcome to use us as a demo site and just,
Well, you were.
no, but I mean, like, they can pay,
Well,
keep
that-
showing
yeah.
us off to
well,
their
that's-
investors.
If
There
they
you go.
want to give us free
That's-
filters.
That's what I'm
yeah, get
thinking.
with it.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's part of what we've suggested as well, yeah.
Yes,
So the cost of these filters are fairly nominal for,
They're a lot less than, so the manganese green sand filters, you would end up with, say, 2 vessels about 8 feet high and about, or they might even be higher than that, 12 feet high and 8 feet diameter. These canisters are, you probably have, I'll say, 4 trains of them,
okay.
probably 3 in a row, and they're about this big around and about that high. You just take this, they have a quick release top, and you pull the cartridge out, throw it away, put another one in, plop it in, and you're good to go.
Good to go.
okay.
So it's a lot less complex, not as much more pumps, there's a lot more to the other system.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay?
all right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good meeting later. At this time, I'm going to go to public comment. Do you have something you'd like to share with the board? Come on up to the microphone and share away. Do you want to lower it? I don't know if she can lower it. You're good at lowering it. It's Michelle's job.
That looks so funny, doesn't it? Thank you, Michelle. Hi. It is parade time. The Memorial Day Parade goes off on the 19th. We step off from the fairgrounds at 2 o'clock. We will end up at Orsini Park, at which we have a great, the cloggers from up the hill are doing a great number, and there are 30 of them now, and they really have been working hard, so I'm excited for that. Then they have the wreath-laying ceremony. We have a small presentation by the Posts, and that is going to be followed by Community Day, which will include hot dogs and ice cream and drinks and, oh my, everything you would like. So we're hoping that everybody will come and they will bring their family, bring in the chairs, enjoy the music. String Theory will play not only in the parade, but they're going to be playing in the gazebo, and they do that out of their goodness of their heart, which is quite nice. So we really thank them for that. Let's see, besides, what am I missing out on? I think that's it. Hopefully, everybody will fly their flags. That's kind of important. If they don't have them out, please put them out. And spruce up the yards and have everything ready for a brand-new 2024 parade. We got lots of new surprises this year, so it's going to be fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You'll have to raise that up a little.
I think it's a little low, Dean.
Squat.
Six wouldn't have done the other. If I'd come first, she would have.
I know, right? You could do it.
Evening, Dean Whalen, 125 Lincoln Avenue, and tonight I'm representing Historic Altamont. As you may recall, I think it was your February meeting, Dave Burke presented an overview of the revitalization of that group and the revised mission of that group. Tonight I'm here to kind of provide an update on the group's activity in recent days. So in part, the opportunity to reestablish the group was due to the receipt of an ARPA grant. I'm not sure if Dave talked about that, from the county. That did have two deliverables, very specific deliverables. One was to develop a trail network plan for paths within and around the village. This through the hiring of a design consultant. That's currently in the process. The second, and tied to that, is locate and construct a kiosk providing maps and information for both that local trail network and the link trail to the long path up in Tetra Park at High Point. That is actually being developed separately and in parallel by the New York, New Jersey Trail Council. I did have the opportunity to join them on, stupidly, the day after a rain. It's a very muddy trail at the present time, but they have established some routing down, including coming all the way down to the village. And it's also our understanding that the fair has also received a grant towards development of some of those village network trails as well. So the reason I wanted to come before you tonight is one of the key initial focuses of Historic Altamont is obviously the development of a kiosk, one to go along with that effort from the Trail Council. The kiosk itself is really envisioned to be a community asset. As mentioned, the kiosk is partly meant to be a hub for the current terminus of the Long Path, because right now the Long Path is really not established really to High Point. There is a paper route to continue all the way to Canada, but that has not really been fleshed out even as walkable if you're crazy enough to even attempt it at this point. So there is a lot of attention for hikers, through hikers and local hikers to hike along the Long Path. The two wilderness sections is actually through Schoharie Valley and through Albany County and primarily throughout Thatcher Park. So there's a lot of interest in that. And that the kiosk would obviously have a map panel describing this connection and information on how to go there, say from Altamont up to High Point and continue or go south. It's also intended to provide, since we're looking to put it in the village, additional informational panels for Village News, Act News, replacing the current sign that's on private property, that's actually currently for sale. Other ongoing community activities and groups with changeable signage, information on local businesses, even potentially we've talked about having slots for flyers from the businesses if that makes sense, fairground information and upcoming events, and nearby attractions such as Thatcher Park and the Apple Orchard and all those sort of places. It's envisioned to be Altamont themed, not rustic like you typically see at a trailhead up in the Adirondacks. It's going to be themed to kind of pick up on the vibe and the texture that we have in town, and also scale appropriate to a final location. However, we are struggling to find an appropriate location within the central downtown area, which is really where the current route is looked to come down, at least from that path down from the Long Path. So along with possible locations in Orsini Park that we've been kicking around, currently seen as suitable, and other adjacent public property in central village, we have also been in contact with and communication with a private individual within the same general area, but our concern about that is the structure will be serving and benefit the general public, and we would prefer, obviously, to pursue a solution directly with the village on public property. And so therefore, we really hope to continue the conversation. We've had some brief conversations with the village to work to a solution someplace in and around Orsini Park. Unfortunately, without a set location, we're struggling. We can do renderings all day long, but until we really set on a viable location, we really can't finalize, again, for the board to look at and others to look at what that would be. Because each site that might be viable would have a different solution. One could be linear, one could be cruciform, bigger, smaller, how do they sit within the site itself? So again, I thank the board for letting me kind of update you, and I don't know if you have any questions?
No, I think of the board, just a little update, Dean and I have been speaking on the side about this, you know, just the possibilities, and I definitely said, we can try to help find a location.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple, Keith Lee and Jim Gaughan, who are really good at this type of thing. They're willing to help us, you know, even try to work with us to help work with you to see if we can together find the best area for it. And so I did make those calls.
Okay, good,
I did,
yeah.
yeah. So that's my update to you. And so it's moving forward.
Good.
And I'll just keep you updated as we go. But I thought, you know, the village's role in this would be to help them
Yeah, I don't know
see
how
what we
much
could do to help them find the location
I
for
like the
this.
long trail, and I hiked up to the high point. It's a great idea.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know how much David talked previously about this kiosk thing. That's the reason I wanted to kind of update the
No.
board about
no, we
our
didn't talk
next
about
step.
that night
Okay,
at
yeah, I
all.
didn't think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Any other?
So,
Yeah.
so I mean, unless there's another question, I
No,
mean,
yeah,
I'll
just-
stay in touch with you in the next couple weeks, and, you
Great.
know, if something changes.
Yeah,
And
contact
either
me,
way,
that's fine.
I'll
Yep.
contact you, yeah, absolutely.
It's a good way to support the community. Like, we can have everything that we need.
Well, yeah, obviously, we're
And
seeing an
also
opportunity with the
village.
trail network and people who like to
Yeah.
hike, but it just seems that it really has a potential to a draw.
Yeah.
For short hikes around the village, using the restaurants, using, you know, other facilities within the village, expanding the potential of other things that go along with that sort of usage. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're obviously very excited about it.
Okay, sounds good.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Dean. Is there anybody else that has something to share tonight? Just waiting because there's somebody coming in. I don't know if they have anything to share. Oh, it's Laura. Couldn't see from that far away at first. I don't want to put you on the spot, Laura. You don't have anything for public comment, do you? Just because of ACT, I didn't know if you had something.
Well,
Would you want to talk about?
yeah, no, I'm fine.
You're good, because June, we could talk about the other event in the end of June, or if you want. Okay, pretty good. All right, so I'm going to move on to our agenda tonight. And start with agenda item number 1, consider approval of treasurer's abstracts number 21 and 22, and transfer of funds as submitted. We've all had a chance to review the vouchers. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Michelle is first, second
I'll second it.
is John. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor?
Mayor Denine.
In favor. Item 2 on the agenda is consider resignation of Tressa Matulowicz, Village Board Trustee, effective April 24th, 2024. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
John is first.
I'll second.
Second is Nick. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor?
Mayor Denine.
In favor. And I want to thank Tressa for all the work she's done for the village. And, you know, she continues to do, being part of the parade committee and other things outside. So we will miss her very much because she's done a lot. Item 3 is consider resignation of Deb Hex, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairperson, effective April 20th, 2024. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Nick?
I'll second.
And Michelle is second. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor?
Mayor Denine.
In favor. And the same, I should say
Yeah.
the same, I could just
Yeah.
waited a minute, I didn't look at it, see that was next. Same thing for Deb Hex. She has been with the village for a very long time and on a lot of committees and done a lot of great work on the ZBA, previously the planning board. And we will definitely notice her absence as well, and we thank her for all the work she's done.
Yeah, thank you.
Item 4 is resolution to affirm Mayor Deneen's appointment of Danny Ramirez from from Zoning Board of Appeals member to chairman. Position was vacated by Deborah Hext and has a 3-year term which expires on March 2025.
So moved?
Nick is first, and Michelle is second. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 5 is consider authorizing Mayor Denine to sign renewal contracts with Highmark Northeastern New York and Delta Dental Insurance for Village of Altamont employees. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
John, and second.
I'll second.
Nick, don't keep me in suspense. Okay. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 6 is consider approval to hire Samantha Staubach, Altamont, Bozenkill Pavilion Cleaner, lifeguard at 19.05 per hour. Kimberly Reek, Altamont, Bozenkill Pavilion Cleaner, camp counselor at 16.55 per hour, per recommendation of Jamie Rubin, Bozenkill Recreation Director. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Michelle is first, second.
I'll second it.
John? And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 7 is consider approval to hire Emma Sear Knox as part-time seasonal laborer for Department of Public Works at a rate of $16 per hour from June 24th through September 6th, per recommendation of Larry Adams, Assistant Superintendent of Public Works. Could we have a motion, please?
So moved.
John is first, and second.
I'll-
Second.
Michelle beat you. And Michelle is second. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 8 is consider approval to promote Stephen Dumoulin to MS4 Program Manager effective June 1st, 2024. MS4 Program Manager will be compensated by a stipend of $3,000 annually to be paid out biweekly through payroll. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved?
Nick is first. Michelle, will you be second?
Yeah.
Okay. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 9 is consider approval of the Village of Altamont to be responsible for the Zoll AED 3 and carrying case being loaned by Guilderland EMS to the village for the use of Bozenkill Camp Program from July 8th through August 2024. This is, the new rules with Albany County for camps is we have to have a AED defibrillator on site. If we don't have our own, they are going to loan us this one. I am actually looking into having our own, but if we can't do that, then this is great that they will do this for us, but we have to have an agreement in place and a resolution. So could I have a resolution or a motion for that?
So moved.
John is first, and second
I'll second.
is Nick. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item,
10.
what am I on, 10? Consider request of Altamont Community Tradition to hold Strawberry Social on June 18th, 2024, from 6 to 8 p.m. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Michelle?
second.
And Nick is second. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. Item 11 is consider approval of resolution scheduling a public hearing on a local law amending Chapter 104 of the Village Code regulating the control of dogs. Public hearing to be held on June 4th at 7 p.m. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Michelle? And second?
I'll second it.
John? And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor?
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine?
In favor. I'll just give you a brief summary, although it is available for you to see. We have code on the control of dogs in our code book, but we got 4 letters about this subject because there are, in one area where I thought the leash law was a leash law personally, I always thought that, we actually don't have it, a leash is not necessarily required on dogs outside of private property. And so the question has come up, and we've had some people ask about it and ask if we could look at that. And so it is the law that was written, the amendment, it's really just a couple words that changes it, actually. It is modeled after Guilderland and some other communities, but it is something we'll talk about in June. Just wanted to put that out there so you wonder what that was. All right. Item 12 is consider acknowledging required annual audits of Justice Morse Hout and Justice Green's and Justice Holohan Scally's 2023 records that were conducted April 24th by Mayor Deneen and Heather Kelly, Deputy Treasurer. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Nick, and second is,
I'll second it.
got John, I'm like forgetting names. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor.
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. Item 13 is consider approving Altamont Fire Department's participation in the following Memorial Day events: Altamont Parade on May 19th, Schoharie Parade on May 23rd, and Burn and Knox Parades on May 27th per request of Paul Miller, Chief. Could I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we're waiting for, Michelle, do you mind being second?
No, I don't.
Okay. Just checking. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor.
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. Item 14 is consider approval of board minutes for April 2nd, 2024. Michelle gives me a motion for that, and second,
I'll second.
Nick. And roll call, please.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor.
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor. I'm going to add one that is not on here this evening because I only received it at 5 o'clock tonight, and I am not signing it until I get the answers, but it's to go with the defibrillator. We have to, by law, do a public access defibrillation policy, and I just want to have an authorization to sign it once I send this to council to review for us, but there's a timeline on it, and so that's why I'm going to throw down here, item 14.5. Consider authorizing Mayor Deneen to sign the public access defibrillation policy. I think that's after review by village council.
Okay.
There we go.
So moved.
So moved for Nick.
I'll second.
And Michelle. And a second, and roll call.
Trustee Ganance?
In favor.
Trustee Farrakhan?
In favor.
Trustee Scally?
In favor.
Mayor Denine.
In favor.
I'm gonna do it right now.
Oh, I was gonna just ask her. I actually did not, I did forget earlier. I was supposed to.
She totally forgot me, Kate,
I
actually.
did. So trustee Ganance, I was going to come to at the beginning of the night, and I had water wells on my
I
brain.
understand.
So would you please give us an
Thanks.
update from the Comprehensive Review Committee?
The
Go for it.
Comprehensive Review Committee has been meeting.
I know you
To
have.
review the comprehensive plan, and we've put together a survey that is going out to the village on the website, on SurveyMonkey. I'm gonna ask Nick to put an announcement on Nixle, and I'll update the website. And it is for the community it starts May 13th, and it's going to close May 31st. And it's an opportunity for everyone in the community to give us their anonymous opinion on things going on, wanted or not wanted in the village. So that will be going out the 13th. You probably will see something on it in the Altamont Enterprise as well.
Okay. Any
Thank you.
questions? Any
Yes.
questions over here? No?
No.
You're
I'm
on the committee.
I'm on the
I know
committee.
you are.
He's on the
I guess it's just Nick or I, but we're good? All right. Thanks, Michelle.
Gives us plenty of time for
Oh.
the people that give us
Oh,
feedback.
there's more.
Also, my information will be on all of that information so that people can contact me
Oh,
through
yeah.
email, not through the village offices. They'll contact me direct.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Let me just ask one more question about that. I know that's online. Are there going to be paper copies available should
Yes.
somebody want one, like at the office or something?
Yes, there will be, ma'am.
Okay, excellent. That's the only question I could think of right now.
Kate is putting together a fabulous flyer.
Well,
Thank you.
I trust her.
I do too.
Okay, with that said, is there anything else the board wants to bring up or discuss? Okay. So I'm going to move to item 15, consider motion to adjourn. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Happy to do
Michelle?
it.
And John, do you want to be second?
Sure.
Okay, great. And all in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Have a great evening, and we'll see you back here in June Thanks for coming out tonight.
Carrie?